another side of life. I did not believe it was attainable before I started powerlifting. It is pretty much whatever you want to be. Powerlifting is an empowering personal sport. It is solely on you whether you succeed or fail. It is not reliant on anything but your will to succeed. No one thing can stop you. No one can stop you, or the weight. You might get some bad calls here and there, and also some good ones. But in the end, powerlifting gives you what you give it. I gave it all to powerlifting. I worked just to powerlift. I ate just to powerlift. I pushed my body beyond anything imaginable to me at the time through powerlifting. I searched for knowledge just to be a good powerlifter. I experimented any way I could to be successful with powerlifting. It was through the sacrifice to powerlifting, in time, effort, and pure desire, that I realized what it all comes down to in life: a choice. You choose to be what you are and what you will become. It wasn't until I started powerlifting that I realized this. Once you have powerlifting and given it everything you can, do pretty much anything you want in life. That is how powerlifting contributed to my life. Marc Bartley. Now, another guy wrote something here from Elite Fitness, from Dave Tate, who used to be in meets with us way back in the day before you fell apart. I believe Spud was added to the Elite FTS in 2003, and he had training logs and everything like that. The cool thing was I couldn't afford to do anything for him, and he was pretty cool with that. I did end up what I was able to afford, and that was metal gear, free of cost. It wasn't easy at the time, but unlike competitors, I still had to buy the gear, and metal wasn't cheap, but it worked out. After more than a decade, Marc is still on the site helping lifters with the Q&A on his log. He's answered and helped thousands of lifters through Elite FTS. Over the past decade, I have watched him transition from a great powerlifter to an entrepreneur. Marc is very deserving of this great honor, not just for what he has done on the platform, but off. He is a great ambassador for the sport of powerlifting, and that's Dave Tate.
Wow.
And got one more here. Okay. Spud is a great guy and an awesome lifter. Competing against him was a lot of fun. I'm sure it was. Spud was one of the most underrated powerlifters of all time. And by far in our day, he was one of the greatest squatters. He always had a smile on his face and a serious approach on the platform. Today, he is still very much involved in the sport in a different way. He finds ways to make the sport more enjoyable and easy to do while making it safe for others. And with all his great gear he produces. Congratulations to one of the great ones, Spud. Steve Goggins. Wow. Okay, because Steve used at the meets with Dan all the time, during weight classes. At these meets, it was Steve Goggins versus Marc Bartley.
Yep.
Every single meet. Those two went neck and neck all the time. So great appreciation there. Spud was the only person I've ever pointed my finger at and said, you need to train with me. We need to train together. And I don't normally do that. I've not done it since. And it was in 1997. And he goes, oh man, he used to say guy all the time. I can't do that. You guys are way too strong, way stronger. But I saw, the size of his legs, and I'm like, man, that guy can squat. So I said, be here Sunday, train. He started training with us. So it was 4 of us. And that we started, and we kept going, and we kept going. And it wasn't too much until we went to the nationals, the senior nationals one year. And he had this huge squat. And I was like, golly, I'll never catch that. So I squatted mine. I don't even think I beat his. And then when he got to the bench, he bombed out. And both of us almost bombed out. Because for some reason, it was just a hard day to bench. And so I remember him going outside and just screaming in French. I didn't even know he could speak French. He started screaming in French. And he goes, this is never going to happen to me again. And boy, if he wasn't right, that was the one thing that turned him. And he just became ferocious after that. I mean, he went from just looking around with big eyes to all the lifters like, wow, to I'm going to beat them all. And that's what he did. And a short story, we had a compound that we trained in through all our career, and it was down in Columbia and off of Elmwood. And one day I had this belt that I won, and I was like, I'm going to get Spud. My big thing with him was, we never talked a whole lot together because we were always irritated with each other, but he showed up to train every single day. He never missed. We may not talk the whole time, but we might just stare at each other. But he showed up. He never missed, okay? And so I was like, I'm going to get him. And I always like to just completely, like, wow him. So I said, this is going to get it. So no one was there, and we had these sliding glass doors that separated the gym and where I lived. And I stood there, I took all my clothes off. I took a Superman towel, tied it around my neck, and put that championship belt around my waist. And I stood there like this. The garage door opened. Spud walked in. He's just teetering around. I had to hold that pose for like 5 minutes before he finally looked at the glass doors. And I was standing there, buck naked, 385 pounds, you know, looked like a cold day.
420.
And Spud saw it, and he didn't even look. I mean, he just glanced. He saw me. He turned right around, grabbed his bag. The garage door went down, and he was gone. So I got dressed, and the door opens up. Like 10 people come walking in. He goes, "Dude, I wasn't coming in until everybody was here and the coast was clear." But I got him good that day. That was one of the ones. That was one of the one times I could, because he knew I was setting him up every time he came in, and so that was the one thing I did that I got him over on him. But there's a saying I read in some testimonial thing. I don't know where it's from, but it's from an anonymous thing. It says, "Oh, that a man can reach beyond his grasp," and that is what I always said to him. He reached beyond his grasp. You know, no one in the world thought he was going to do what he was going to do, and you know, his toe kept going up. He got up to 25.63, and I mean, what do you say at the 275s? You know, a lot of world records and all that other stuff. So, without Father Adam introduced him. He's going to come up and share a few stories, and then you can hear what makes this man tick. And I'll tell you one thing. His last meet, he got hurt real bad. He hurt his quad, and now we have safety straps around the squat racks that he has. And the rate of people getting hurt has cut way down, and they're all over the world now. Okay, so one man's bad fall has saved countless thousands after that. You know, in that race, Spud. So he's going to come up here and talk, and we'll see what makes this man tick.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow. That's quite an introduction, isn't it? First off, I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I want to thank Don and Coach Rock and everyone else involved with this South Carolina Powerlifting Hall of Fame. It's a really great thing to honor those who have given what they can to the sport. But one thing that I never told anybody was my first introduction to powerlifting was at the Dazil free weight gym. And I was across the room doing hack squats. And these two guys came in, and their names were Marc and Keith, which, if you know, Keith was one of our other training partners. So it's kind of ironic. And I saw these guys, and they're over there going, lightweight, lightweight. They're hitting the bar, and they're screaming out of their minds. I'm going, what the crap is that? And I said, I don't want to do that. This was age 19. So I went back to my hack squats, and I had a good time for the next 10 or 11 years. And then one day in the back of Don's gym, I was just hanging out. I have the story a little bit different than he did. You know, he likes to say he pointed a finger at me and all that crap, but he really didn't. I was back there, it was like 4.5, and I thought I was doing something back there, and I was breathing real hard. And he came back there and he said, hey, you want to powerlift? And I said, sure, why not? I got nothing else to do. And that was one of the most pivotal choices I ever made in my life, was deciding to be a powerlifter. And I didn't know what it was at first. I was just going along with it, and enjoying a new type of training, and enjoying all the things about it. And we didn't know anything. The only things we had were, like Dan said, Powerlifting USAs. You know, that was about our only information there. And this was about the time when bands and chains were first coming out. Don had those at the gym, and you know, everybody looked at us like we're absolute fruitcakes. Absolute fruitcakes. And we just kept on training and doing our thing every single day. We got better and better at it. And then we started reading the books. You know, we got Super Training by Mel Siff and Vereshkovsky. One of the most pivotal books I've ever got. And of course I couldn't read it. It was like, you know, it was like Russian, but it was in English. You know, you read a paragraph, you read a paragraph, you read a paragraph, you're like, damn it, man. What the hell are they trying to say here? I don't get it. But what happened was, as we kept lifting and we kept learning, the things started coalescing. And they all started, what was said in the books and the training, it all just came together. And you know, it was sort of like if you ever watched The Matrix, when he looks at, Keanu looks at him and says, hey, I know Kung Fu, and he goes, show me. And that's like, when I think about that, I think about the weight saying, show me. Show me what you got. So, it was then that I really, really gave everything that I had to powerlifting because I enjoyed it so much. It was something that I always did when I was lifting. You know, I would lift really heavy, and I always wanted to outlift everybody because I was smaller than everybody. You know, guys were a lot bigger, but you know, I knew I could be stronger than them, and that's what I set out to do. And along the way, you know, I learned how to be a great trainer. I learned a whole bunch of things about training. And I remember one day when the lights really clicked on. This is back when we first had a monolith, and nobody had a monolith back then. And Don had read somewhere that they were doing heavy bands, where you stick whole bunches of bands on the bar. Well, Don stuck every single band we had in the gym on the bar. If you know anything about bands, big one, next one, monster, mini. He put all those on there. He had no clue what we were doing. And we were using a fat bar, and I worked at the 275, and everything just started smoking. It was just clicking. And it made him so mad, he went and got a stick, because he couldn't figure out what it was. He got a marker and a stick, and he measured. He said, Spud's height, Don's height. That must be the problem. But that was one of those moments where I learned leverage. I learned all the things about lifting. They all just started clicking and started making all kind of sense. And that's when we really started making progress. We started moving ahead. And you know, I did beat you to 1,000. I did beat you to 1,100. I took 1,200 before you did. But you beat me by a way over. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, he's a great lifter. Everybody give him a hand. Yay! But even though the whole time, you know, we always fought back and forth, it was like brothers. And we always supported each other no matter what when we lifted. And so, you know, he might cuss me out, I might cuss him out, but it was just a great time. And we had a great crew. And for a very short period of time, nobody really notices this in the powerlifting world. We had 4,000-pound squatters. We had 2 or 3 over 2,400 totals. We had several, I think Adam had 22 or 2,300, which at the time, those were really big numbers. Nowadays, they're a little bit light. But the really cool part about it is we were one of the top clubs around. And this was in Columbia, South Carolina, by a bunch of guys who just took it up a few years before, right? So I'm very proud of that achievement for what all we did together, as hard as we pushed each other, and all the things we did, and all the people that we helped and trained. And this is and another cool thing that I like to talk about is the people before us pushed us to a new level. They pushed us to a level. You know, I'm not putting myself in Cone's League or anybody, or Goggins League or anything like that, but they pushed us to work really hard. And they pushed us to change the face of powerlifting at that time. Because we put up some really good totals. A whole bunch of people, not just our crew. But I was extremely proud of the fact that we were able to push that up. And I feel like we contributed to the next level of people that are coming up. We got a lot of raw guys in here. Brandon Lilly, Chad, who I think that the things that we did helped shove them to another level. They helped them go, you know what, I want to beat that, I want to do that. But that's what it's all about. That's what powerlifting is to me. It's you striving to do something, and with powerlifting, you can make that happen at any single time. Everything is just a choice. As he was saying earlier, I didn't take it up until age 30. So, in a very short period of time, I made some gigantic strides, and I learned a whole lot. So, again, I want to thank everybody. This is really a fantastic honor. Sorry, my jokes didn't land at all tonight. Hey, I got one. But I want to thank all the guys I trained with, all the guys that helped me, all the guys that motivated me, all the great lifters in the world that we got to compete against. And I wish I would have got that 12:05. That was all the nemesis that broke me. But you know what? After you power lift, after you've done something like that, everything else is great. Everything else is easy. Nothing's hard. What I learned was it's just making a choice and taking a step. And every single day, we just took another step. And every single day, I try to take another step. And I think that powerlifting is a fantastic sport for anybody. So, thank you. Not rehearsed that at all either.